Hi, stitching friends. I'm Amy. I am the Globetrotting Stitcher, and welcome back to my YouTube channel about cross stitch. So glad that you are here with me today. Um, this is October the 23rd, and we are having typical fall weather today, so lots of rain and cloudy skies, and I'm absolutely loving it. Things are starting to, it's still busy here for us, but it feels like it's starting to get back to, or there's a glimmer of getting back to a more normal pace, which is nice. So I'm excited about that. We've been starting to do all of the normal fall things. I've been getting into my, starting to get into my prep for Christmas and doing my Christmas baking, which goes into the freezer and then it all comes out the day before, a couple days before Christmas, and I bake all the cookies. Have also been taking a lot of nice autumn walks with Bear and Sophie, and they are loving that. Definitely having to adjust the schedule because, during the summer we can go in the evening, and of course it's getting much darker, much earlier now, so we're having to kind of figure out other times to go, but really enjoying the cooler air and the breezes and all the beautiful leaves. So it's just been, it's such a nice time of year. I really love it. Gary and I have also been fighting our annual war with the trees in our backyard that drop millions of leaves on the deck and of course in the yard itself. But we have a couple really big trees that are pretty old that just have tons of leaves, and they're right next to our deck. And so they every year drop a ton of leaves on the deck. And so it's just, there's that couple week period when it's all coming down that it's like if you don't get out there every day, it's like a mountain of leaves. And so we've been losing the battles, but we're gonna win the war because the trees are starting to run out of ammo. So we're getting there, but so that's been keeping us occupied. Other than that, I think the only kind of unique thing that's happened here is that last weekend Gary was asked to take photos for an Indian wedding, which if you've ever had the great privilege of attending an Indian wedding, they are a very special, very exciting event. It's lots of color and sound and wonderful food and feasting, and it's a really great event. And so he took some beautiful pictures. And we just really enjoyed having the chance to be a part of that ceremony. So that's been kind of fun and exciting around here. So that's kind of it for the life update for us. We're going along as normal. So let's go ahead and get into the stitching, and I'll show you what we've been working on. We don't have any finishes or FFOs to share with you today, so it's just the whips that we've worked on since the last time we saw you. So the first one is my full coverage piece. I am stitching Rose Trellis In by Heaven and Earth Designs on a piece of white 28 count Lugana. I'm stitching it 2/1 using a combination of half stitch and continental tent stitch. And the last time you saw this, I was starting to, I think I had finished the top of page 13, and I was just starting to get to the kind of the corner of where the in starts back up, but you really couldn't see anything there. And so I was really pleased with the progress I made this last time I worked on it. So this is where it is right now. So I got in a couple more diagonals, filled in quite a bit more background here. But one of the things that was really exciting about working on it this time is that I did get to make progress on the building itself. So you can see there's a little bit more of this metal scroll work that is showing up right here. And then finished some of this, I don't know, is that a cornice or whatever the trim is on the house. And then started to get into some of the bright pink siding here. So yeah, so it was really fun to kind of have that mix of, because the background, although it's still a fair bit of confetti, it moves a lot more quickly than once you kind of get into working in these whites and the colors in the house. And so it was fun to kind of have the good blend of feeling like I was making good progress while working in the background, and then kind of slowing down a bit when I was getting to the parts where I was stitching on the house. But I'm pretty pleased with where I got to on this. I'm really looking forward to working my way across this row, because I think this is where a lot of the visual interest really starts to pick up in this design. And so I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see that come to life over the next year. but that is where I am on this design. And I think one last thing I want to mention on this before I put it down is that I've talked several times about how I've been watching, and there has been a little bit of correction that's just happened as I've changed my stitching style a bit, but there's definitely some warping that you can see on this. And so one of the things that I did I've been doing my research, and I've asked for feedback from some of you, and I've had some good advice. And so I am hoping over the next couple of months I've started to pull some supplies together to try and take corrective action to see what I can do about straightening it out a bit. And I can't remember the word, it's escaping me at the moment, but hoping to correct this. But anyway, so this is where this is, and I'm really happy with it. Okay. The next piece I worked on was my sampler. I am currently working on the Floralia Sampler by Clover Me Designs, and I am stitching it on a piece of 36 count aqua Edinburgh linen. Give me just a second here, and I'll get this on my little backing piece here. I am stitching this as a monochromatic design. It was originally charted as a monochromatic red sampler, and I decided to do it in aqua and teal, and I'm really pleased with it. So the last time you saw this, I had actually made really good progress on it. I had completely finished page 1 and had just kind of gotten a decent start on page 2. And this is where she is right now. So I didn't get to work on any more of the border this time around, but I finished this giant J. There was quite a bit of stitching in this one, and it was a little bit tricky because it actually, the chart on this overlapped by it overlapped over 4 different pages of the chart. And so trying to kind of put those together and figure out and make sure all the stitches ended up in the right place made this one a little bit tricky to stitch, but I did get it in there correctly. I also finished stitching this giant bee, stitched the flower basket and a couple little flower motifs here, started on the K, stitched this flower basket, the C, and then I started this motif here as like a really big cherub with like this kind of floral thing that's above it. It looks like it's a swing set almost. Anyway, so I got a little bit of a start on this, but this one has just been really enjoyable to stitch. I was telling one of my stitchy friends that I like the mix in this design of kind of some of these bigger elements with all the little small elements that are also in it, because it makes you feel like you're making really good progress even when you've got a big element that takes a long time to stitch, because when that's done you have all these other little small things that you get through more quickly. So this is where this is now, and I'm really enjoying working on it. Really pleased with where I've gotten to on it. Before I move on to the next piece, I wanted to mention we did get a question and a request on this from Sandy Koenig, and she said, as a new cross stitcher, would you mind showing the back of your Floralia sampler? She wants to learn a little bit more about how to move from one area to the next with threads. So I typically don't show the back of my pieces, but I'm happy to share in this case. And what I will say is while I am not perfect when it comes to the back of my projects, I do keep a fairly neat back. And that is just, I think, years of stitching experience coming to the fore. I used to do a lot of carrying and not worry about it, and I've gotten to the point where I really don't carry much. So wanted to show you what this looks like on the back. So I've got a couple of loose threads that need to be snipped, so ignore those. But aside from that, what you can see is that from one motif to the next, I don't carry any threads. And even within the motifs themselves, and I think this bird motif here is a good example, you can see I don't have any carrying across these big spaces. This is going to be particularly true where you have a design where you're working on, if you're working on a fabric. This is a little bit of a thinner fabric. It's not super heavy. And I'm also doing a dark thread on a light fabric, which means it's a lot more likely to show through if I carry across big spaces. So rather than carrying, I just stitch my way around. most of the time, if there's more than a gap of say 2 stitches on a design like this, I won't carry my thread across. I will just either work around to get there, or will tie off and start in a new spot to avoid having threads show through from the back. And so I hope that's helpful to you, Sandy. But since we had this up, I thought I would just take a chance to show and respond to that request while I've got Floralia Sampler out. But let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll try to help further with that. Okay. The next thing we have to show you is Gary's piece. And this one seems to be a fan favorite with everybody. Everybody really enjoys seeing what Gary's been working on. So Gary is continuing to work on To Market. This is a design by Hannah's Needlecraft, which is an Etsy shop, and he's stitching it on a 16 count beautiful beige Aida. So the last time we updated you, he had finished stitching. There's I think it's a little girl who's walking behind the pig as all of these people are going to the market. And so I will show you where it is now, and then give Gary a chance to kind of talk about what he's been working on with this over the last couple of weeks.
Well, I haven't been working on it much because I shot a wedding and some other stuff, and paying comes before playing, right? At any rate, yeah, it's the same thing with this one. Although I feel weird because when I started with the guy all the way at the end, you can't really see him because he's kind of tucked into the deal. I was thinking, when will this ever be over? And now it's like I got half a lady and a goat, and then it's done. And some of you more sharp-eyed people may have noticed that I'm missing a tooth. It's because I just laughed, but it's because I'm doing a dental thing, and I'm not going to spend $100 on something that's going to sit in my mouth for maybe several hours and then sit in a landfill for the rest of everyone else's life. So I'll just deal with the humility of no tooth. Anyway, yeah, and it's a freak accident too. It involves a tortilla chip. I don't even want to get into it.
Oh my gosh. We agreed we were going to talk about this.
Yes, we did. Anyway, so like I say, it's been a great piece to work on because when you work on something like this, if you're new to cross stitching as I am, your skills are going to be better when you finish this one because there's a lot of counting. You got to be real careful about what color goes where. Some of those little squares are just one color, so you got to be real careful where you sew. And so far, I've only had to frog maybe 2 or 3 times, not too many times. The biggest one was the last lady that you see there. Her right foot, I guess that would be. It was one box over. So we had to take the whole foot out and move it over one box. But that's about it. Other than that, I'm pretty sure this will be done by the end of October. Just for saying, if it's not, then I know it will not be the end of November when this gets done. It'll be way before that. But I'm going to be working on it today and probably tomorrow, and I should start playing with the keys. Anyway, so yeah, I should be done. It's been a lot of fun to work on this. In fact, I actually got a commission job out of this. Somebody saw, I put a picture on Facebook of what I was working on. She found a pattern, sent it to me, and wants me to do that for her, and it's commission. So woohoo! Anyway, that's where I am, and yeah, should be done next time we record. Should be done. So I got 2 weeks.
Watch this space. You guys hold him to it. But I think I think he'll get it done. I'm so excited about this, and I'm loving how it's coming together. I think it's just great. Okay, the last whip that we have to show you is my travel stitching. If you've been watching us the last couple of episodes, you know my progress on this has been fairly slow. I am stitching Silent Night by Country Cottage Needleworks on a piece of 32 count light blue Lugana. And yeah, like I said, the last couple of times I've shown this, I've just made very little progress. I think the last time you saw it, I had done a little bit more work on the roof of the church. and had extended the top border a bit and started to put in some snowflakes and letters. Um, and I made a little bit more progress than I have been on average, but it's still not a ton. But progress is progress, and I'm liking how it's coming along. So here's where it is now. So this last couple of weeks, I extended this border a little bit further. I think I got another letter in. I was able to stitch in a couple more snowflakes and start filling in the church a bit. I finished this window up here, and got this little garland going down here at the bottom. And then I also got in a couple of these stars there that are the toppers of the trees that are on either side of the church. So yeah, it's coming along. And when I do get a chance to stitch on this a bit, I really do enjoy it. The rate that I'm going, I don't know if I'm gonna, I had kind of hoped when I started this piece in July that I was like, oh, it's totally reasonable that I would have it done by Christmas, but it's not looking likely at this point, given how speedily I'm going on it. So it may not be done in time for Christmas this year, but possibly. But regardless, it's a lot of fun to stitch on, and I think it's just a really sweet, really, really pretty design. So that is where we are on that. So quickly, I just wanted to answer. We had a question that came in on one of our recent episodes, and I wanted to answer that. And hopefully this is helpful. So Melanie McKenzie wanted to know where we get the holders that are on the Floralia Sampler. It's also Gary. We're using them on Gary's design here. And let's see, where did that go? Oh, did I drop it? Uh-oh. I think I dropped it. I'll just take it off of here real quick. So these, Melanie, these are like a magnetic silicone tie. And I got mine on Amazon. They were really inexpensive. What I will do is put a link in the description box below to help you actually find them, because what I found when I ordered from Amazon was these actually come in 2 different lengths, and I didn't realize that the first time I ordered. And so the first set that I ordered were quite a bit shorter than this, and I wasn't able to get them actually even around the Q-snap very well, and certainly not able to hold up fabric, which I know is what you're looking to be able to use these for. So you definitely want to get the longer length. What I will say is that of all of the different tools that I have tried for folding fabric up and keeping it out of the way while I'm stitching, these have been absolutely the best. I've tried like hair clips. I think Melanie mentioned she was trying binder clips and they weren't working for her very well. So I highly recommend these. They hold up quite a bit of fabric, and they've been a very effective tool for me, and obviously are working really well for Gary. So like I said, we'll put a link in the description box below to help you track those down.
I had no idea what those did.
Oh, you just thought they were...
You put it together, I sew. I don't ask questions.
Keeps your fabric out of the way.
That's great.
Now you know. The other thing that I really like about them is that they've got a good magnetic hold on them. And so they actually serve as an additional needle minder for me. And it's nice because they're scattered all throughout the piece. So depending on where I'm working, it's easy to just toss a needle just about anywhere. And there's been a couple of times where I've actually dropped my needle by mistake and one of these caught it, as opposed to me having to dig through the couch frantically to see if it's, see if it's fallen somewhere on the couch. So yeah, that's kind of it for us today. It's kind of a short update. But we did want to just check in and let you know what we had been working on. So we'll wrap up quickly by telling you what we're going to be working on between now and the next time we spend a little bit of time with you. Gary's going to, like he said, he is going to be pushing for a finish on his 2 market. So I'm looking forward to being able to show you guys that all done. And I am going to hopefully put in a little bit more progress on my travel stitching, the Silent Night that we just showed you. We'll see if I can maybe get in a couple of trees or fill in the church a little bit more. I'm going to spend a week working on my Fancy Lady, which is Royal Holiday by Mirabilia. And I am looking forward to spending some time on that. I felt like I was starting to kind of tip over the edge with that one as far as feeling like I was really progressing. And so looking forward to that one. And then I am also going to be working, I'm going to spend a week working on my seasonal piece, which is Spring Delivery by Plum Street Samplers. That one, I don't want to jinx myself and say this, but I'm going to do it anyway. That one I'm going to also kind of be pushing for a finish and really hoping that I can get that one wrapped up and maybe have a new start the next time we see you. So I think that's pretty much it for us. If you are, wherever you are in the world, if you celebrate Halloween, we hope that you have a fun time. I've been debating about some new costumes for Bear and Sophie, because it's always fun to dress them up and parade around the neighborhood, but I haven't quite settled on what to get them yet, so I'm running out of time. I better hurry. But yeah, so if you celebrate Halloween, we hope you have a fun one, and that you enjoy it. And if you, I think that's, sorry, I'm rambling a little bit now here at the end, but
just a little.
Just a little bit. Wrap it up. If you like our videos, we and you're not already a subscriber, we do hope you'll hit the subscribe button and come back to visit with us regularly. You can hit the little bell that gives you a notification when we post a new video. And of course, if you give us a like, it does help us in the YouTube algorithm and puts our video out there for more people to find us. So please do that. As always, we really enjoy your comments and connecting with you. We also really love getting emails from you. It's really fun because every now and then someone will share a progress picture of something they're working on, and I really enjoy seeing those. You can also follow me on Instagram between videos. I am globetrotting_Stitcher there. So with all of that having been said, stay well and safe. We hope that you guys are all doing great, and we will look forward to seeing you really soon. Take care. Bye-bye.